to another live Witches Chat. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that bell icon so you get all the notifications of when I post and or go live. And hi, hello, I am Fire Lotus. I've been doing these for about four-ish years. Um, and in these, we basically go over everything spirituality, witchcraft, paranormal, kind of depending on where the conversation's going. We don't really talk about world politics and or religion unless it's just a friendly conversation. So, with that, a lot has happened. I've got a few updates, which I love doing. Good morning. Um, so yeah, I got a few updates on like spells that I've done. Also, I'm going to address a couple of things and show how some of my content, hello, is going to be changing. So I actually posted a TikTok the other day, which I shouldn't have, where I was actually wrong, and I will no longer be considering myself two-spirit. I'm going to find another term. I also will no longer be talking about anything to do with Native Americans. And why is that? Because I made 2 videos, and let's just say people got tagged in them that I did not want to get tagged in them. So I'm completely just stopped talking about that. And yeah, so with that being said, so February the 4th, or January the 4th of this year, I had a close person, kind of distant, reach out to me to do a love spell. That love spell, kind of, it wasn't really a love spell like to make somebody fall in love with them. It was to kind of re-spark that spark between these 3 individuals. I've never had spell work that kind of took that much. I'm taking a break. I need a break from posting. I'm just too triggered. Honestly, same. Like, I've posted a couple of videos randomly, but I'm to a point now on TikTok to where, hello, I'm having trouble posting anything. Because if I post anything about Southern Conjure, I get ripped to shreds because nobody believes that some of these things are open due to the fact of how Southern Conjure was made. And then when I made the 2 spirit video explaining to them, because they're like, wait, you're not native. I never stated I was native, but apparently people think I am. And I was like, until I get a DNA test, I won't know. And even if I do, and if I do have native in me, I'm not going to go around claiming that I'm native, right? And yeah, big native creators, the ones that before I say this, there's a reason. There are certain native creators, just like other creators, that I do not like due to the fact of how they approach certain things. They went from being educational to where basically now they're just being rude and just bashing on people. Good morning. Yes, I hope everybody is doing well today. So I'm kind of in a pickle of what I need to post. I also got called out, which I love, by the Southern Fried Witch's last episode. If y'all have not already, find some time to listen to that today. It is open, and in that in that podcast episode, though, it made me think about a couple of things that I've been doing, because it helped me realize that as much as I hate to admit this, I fell into the TikTok trap. What do I mean by that? I forgot the purpose of me originally starting videos. And it started when I actually started making all these response videos to, like, this is closed, that's closed, and all this other shit. I'm no longer doing that anymore. Like, and to anybody who actually picked up a book, because every single time I show Southern Conjure books, they're like, oh, no, this is all lies and it was culture of purpose. No, it's not. If you talk to somebody that actually practices Southern Conjure, you will realize that due to the fact of Southern Conjure was built and made through all different types of multiple different cultures and magical practices. What do I mean this? Creole Voodoo. That is voodoo. That is open. It's kind of initiated into. But what I mean by Creole Voodoo is it's voodoo that was basically created in New Orleans. All right. So with that, you have to think of, because through that, hoodoo was created, and through hoodoo, not traditional hoodoo, basically what I call Southern Conjure, that means that all these people, exactly, they came together, Native Americans, and Southern Conjure, that's where we get a lot of our folk, the magical herbs, that's where we get that from. Spices and incense, India. You had Haitians who straight up was like, here, you know, you can do this, you can do that. They created it to share their knowledge, kind of how Ukraine is doing right now, where it's like uniting the entire world and we're sharing ideas, like we're helping each other. That's exactly what they did. But the problem is bigger creators on the app that also look like I do. I'm saying look because I'm not judging their actual race or ethnicity. But they went on there and they're like, no, this is closed. The funny thing is, a lot of these people that are saying things are closed are not even of that practice. And people are believing them. Either that or people automatically are like, all right, well, I'm not going to appropriate anything, so it's closed. No, there is a difference between cultural appropriating and cultural appreciation. And thanks to the internet, that's completely lost. Now, the cool thing is I actually did have 2 natives reach out to me. One is from Alaska, and I don't actually know where the other one's from, but they have actually decided to reach out to me because they're like, we saw your because I've taken those videos down. I've taken them all down. If it is closed, wouldn't all the herbs and spices be closed too? Exactly. That's what doesn't make sense. Like, I understand, and what I said in that video, I understand when they're saying, no, you cannot use this herb in the same ceremonial sense that this particular practice does. I get the ceremonial aspect, but going around saying everything is closed or it's only accessible to one thing, especially due to the fact of the United States is just a cultural mixing pot. It doesn't make sense at all. Using things with respect. Exactly. And the natives that reach out to me, the last one, once they realized I've taken down those videos, which if y'all followed me for a while, I don't normally do. Like, it takes a lot for someone to get to me to where I have to take the video down. And my partner's like, you just need to snap on them. And I'm like, no. And he's like, why? And I'm like, I have built this profile 3 years. I have dedicated 3 fucking years to that profile. I was like, I'm not going to put myself just so I can snap on somebody, the chance of me going through an emotional downfall if that profile were to ever be banned permanently. This is why I'm collected and I pull from all different studies. Same. I do the same thing, but apparently that's not even a thing anymore. I don't fucking know. But the Native American, the second one, the native who reached out to me, they're like, we can see that the questions you're asking, you're not doing it to be malice. You're actually trying to understand why these things are. And I was like, yes, that's what people don't understand. I think people are taking things out of context for creating cultures instead of clarifying. Exactly. Working with land spirits has taught me that respect is more important than anything a human would say. Exactly. Like I asked Raph about having bones versus using them spiritually. See, that was what confused me, because in multiple cultures, or multiple Southern conjure books, we do use coyote teeth. Not bones, but the teeth of that aspect. And I've even confused, because before I say this, and I know if anybody screenshots it, it probably will cancel me because people take it out of context. The reason and the issue that I had with the coyote video... Okay, so when we think of elders, we think of like our grandparents and stuff like that. In Native belief, if I have this understand right, there are multiple different types of elders. One of the 2 elders that I wish I could have heard and seen speak in that video versus the creator's grandmother was an actual medicine man and or like chief of that tribe or that area, because to me that would make sense. But we're also having creators that are native. They're going on here and they're saying stuff, but I've had a few people reach out and actually ask the tribe leader, and they're like, no, that's not how it is. As long as you don't like try to recreate our ceremonies, then there's no issue. The other one was the reason that we can't use coyote bones, which I don't want to. I don't have... The only thing I think I have is a coyote tooth. I do not use it in my practice, and it was given to me by my first love and best friend who's no longer with us. It sits on my ancestor altar. See, that's what's hard about nothing about Southern conjure. Exactly, and it drives me crazy. So I'm like, I have this saying where, you know how like people say it's like, don't waste your breath. There's no sense of wasting your breath. No. Speaking or talking to people online these days, it's like, it's no longer talking to a brick wall. It's talking to a mortar between the brick walls. And that's what's driving me crazy. And I'm like, okay, I've done all the basic videos before, and until I actually get my following up to where I get playlist, nobody wants to scroll through profiles to find it. I've done an entire 8-part series on magical dirt. I've done an entire part series, I think it's an 8-part series on magical waters, hurricane waters, all these other things that people are already going over. Which is why my latest video that I posted was, actually, hold on, I can show you. Use these for divination tools. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Yes, I know. Start collecting these, the colored ones. And you can either A, associate a color with each one, and or write something on it. This would be the top, this would be the bottom. Throw them like bones. Throw them like runes. Simple, quick, budget friendly, and if you're still in the closet, and so many people, I have an entire necklace full of these now. I've got like probably almost 50 of them. And it's, people still wear them around their necks today. So they're not going to think, oh, that's a divinational tool. No, you're just collecting bottle caps. And it's just, so I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore. Exactly. Just like casting charms. And I'm like, okay, who can I find that is a Southern conjure practitioner that people will listen to? The problem is nobody's going to do that because of the caste system that the witchy TikTok community has, which is basically, and when I mention any of these names, I'm not talking bad about them whatsoever. Cranky the Aunt Witch, or Cranky, Cranky Aunt Cranky the Witch. Anything she says, anything they say, they'll listen to them. I didn't say anything or enter the bone conversation because I have them gifted to me by the tribe. There are so many comments that I've gotten like that, and I'm just like, okay, so wait, let me get this straight. No, I'm not going to go into that. But yeah, I'm confused with it too. And there are a lot of things that I do on my practice. No, I'm not saying they're cultural appropriating or anything like that, but there's a lot of shit that I do not show that I use in my practice. And that's just because, yeah, there we go. Her Witchfoot, or them, Witchfoot. No matter if these people are wrong, completely backwards ass wrong, people are automatically going to listen to them. Uncle Birch, he also has made the exact same statements that I made in the 3 videos that I had to take down, but yet, there he is. He's still up there. And it's funny because besides the 2 natives who reached out to me to talk, every single comment that not every single one, I did get multiple other comments from natives that actually were trying to help me out. But a lot of the other ones were just like, you know, you're a colonizer. And I'm like, how do your ancestors think of this? And that's what I don't understand about all these spiritual people. And I don't care the race. I'm talking everybody. How they're supposed to be so divine and so spiritual, but yet they will tear somebody apart for no reason in the comments. And I'm like, do you honestly think I would do that? Because if my dead relatives were standing right next to me, they would probably all take a stick and just start beating me with it. And it drives me crazy, which is one of the reasons. And besides, I don't feel, and me and my partner talked about this because we went into town, I think it was Saturday, and Gainesville, they have this Butler Plaza to where there is just shit all over, stores all over the place, right? And everybody's going about their normal day. And I looked at him and I was like, this is fucking weird to me. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, we have 2 countries that are basically going fucking war, full out war. And everybody is just going about their normal day. So when it comes to content making, I feel weird of making normal content because I'm like, these people are suffering. And then not to mention, for some weird side effect of me watching some of the war videos, because my partner will send them to me, it's triggering faint memories of past lives that I had involving war. So I'm like, obviously I'm keeping up with it, but at the same time, I have to distance myself from it. And it's just, I mean, yes, true enough, we are all coming together. What is happening in Ukraine right now is it's inciting the entire world in a really positive way. And what I mean by that is we're seeing, one of the reasons I believe China, and this is the only time I'm talking about this, because I like my lives to be a break from what's going on in the world. One of the reasons I think China backed away from supporting Russia versus what they're doing now, which is, I think it was Portland? No, Poland. I think it was Poland. There was a place where Russia was about to invade, and China was just like, nope, you need to stay away, give these people their freedom. The reason that is because what we're seeing in Ukraine, I don't think, besides the Revolutionary War, and obviously I'm probably wrong on that with all the other countries, I don't think we've ever seen anything like this, because the entire fucking country came together and they're like, no, don't think so. You have more women serving over there right now than you have men. I will give Witchfoot something because she often comes with the kids' call receipts. This is true too. I will say that with her. I just don't like I don't know the proper word, the kind of cockiness. I actually love Witchfoot. Yes, she has a few different views, but she has some really good info. Also, I understand the situation, me on edge. I don't share it on Facebook because I don't want to get any arguments and I need time. Exactly. I do like how Witchfoot does some of the things, but the, like, I want to say it's cockiness. It's just like, I think Witchfoot has some funny content, but I don't really align with a lot of her views. Exactly. She really is abrasive. And I just don't like some of the facts that, like, these higher creators can create very questionable things. And they're still there, but yet I'm very small technically to all these other people. And I'm constantly having to worry if I'm about to get canceled or if I say something, or am I going to be attacked? Because I already went through that with the YouTube lives, and I'm not doing that. But at the same time, I'm not going to let people on the internet drive me away from my passion. But with the Ukraine thing, and the reason I don't think China is really showing a lot is because, if that were to happen in China, China would fully be able to rebel and actually take back their land. So, like, oh, I don't know the feeling. So, like, this is an amazing thing. I mean, obviously, it's fucking horrible. There are people dying and everything like that. But what it's doing and how it's uniting the whole of the world is just beautiful. And the last update that I heard, where there were two sides, there was one from Ukraine and one from Russia. They were meeting at the border sometime today to try to talk about a way of kind of squashing it, like stopping it. I hope that happens, but, you know, we won't know. Now, another thing that I did want to kind of talk about, and obviously I'm not going to talk about it on TikTok, and I'm not trying to fearmonger, and this is just a theory. So before this actually fully broke out, in the months of December and January, I was making content because I started having these crazy dreams, and that I had that either premonition or time leap, or quantum jump, whatever you want to call it, about an apocalyptical world, right? Hear me out, listen. No, I'm not saying World War III is coming, but if you saw my video on what happened on 9/11, on 9/11, there are 78 random machines that scientists have put in 78 locations that randomly generate numbers from the barometric pressure system. So they're constantly different. They're never the same, except for on 9/11. On 9/11, I think it was either right before the first one, I think it was right before it actually happened, or right after it happened. All 78 machines synced up with the exact same numbers and started printing them out. Now, that shook everybody, and still to this day, they have not been able to actually redo it, right? The reason this is so interesting is because there are other studies that they did where they asked people of all different ages of how you felt that day, and everybody responded in the exact same way. I don't know what it was, but from the moment I woke up, I knew something was going to happen. That is evidence of a connected consciousness, just like a computer or the internet is connected to phones and everything like that. That is us. Here recently, I'm going to butcher the name to this, but it's the human energy thing. You see a couple of TikTokers talking about it, and Twitter shares them periodically, and basically they're supposed to be like these wavelengths of energy. Normally, if we have a huge rush in it, it's from the sun. I've been doing an experiment for the past, I want to say like 2 or 3 weeks now, where when I get their tweets, if I have time to, I'll retweet it, but actually put how the energy for me feels that day, or how I feel. And recently, within the past 3 days, we had a huge spike that they're saying wasn't caused by the sun. It was actually caused by us. So I think what is happening in the world right now is, and And there's an artist on TikTok who like redid this one song. And she worded it perfectly. COVID-19 taught the world to love each other and to stay together in a weird way. And we're seeing that now. The entire world is uniting to help them. Not the entire world. Obviously, there are a couple of people that are on the other side. But I went to TikTok and I asked other practitioners or psychics or mediums. I was like, look, have you been also having, crazy dreams about apocalyptic worlds? And they said yes. What if that was the connected consciousness trying to warn everybody that this event was coming? Slightly out there, but it makes sense. If we really are on a higher level of consciousness as we are practitioners, we're kind of tuned more in, it would make sense that they try to send us, hey, something's coming your way. Everybody kept saying it. If you go back and look at some of the videos, everybody kept making videos, psychic, medium, normal people, stating there's something big coming. We don't know what it is. It's just you can feel it in the air. Now we have this. I had a revelation about the timeline last night when I was explaining to the hubby last night. You know how our greats are always seen as crazy and weird until they're appreciated after their death. Oh my God! Yes, thank you for saying that. I have said that so many times because I'm like, look, all the people that we like say that they were the best people, we appreciate them so much. Picasso, my favorite, two favorites, Edgar Allan Poe, and oh my God, he's my favorite artist. Starry Night, Van Gogh. All of them were fucking crazy. All of them back then were crazy lunatics. And now look at them. So when people call me crazy, it used to be a trigger word for me, but now I accept it because damn right I'm crazy. I can be crazy, but it's because I see the world in different ways. And one day I hope I will go down, and I always used to joke with my partner about this, which I'm going to be like Van Gogh. I'm going to pop off after I pass away. Emily Dickinson, one of the best poets in my opinion ever. You want me to tell you why? Because she had agoraphobia. She rarely left her house. But yet she was able to tap into something and to express emotions that shouldn't even be possible because she never experienced these events. And then on top of that, when she passed, she wrote in her will that her sister destroyed her notebooks. Her sister, nobody knew she was writing poetry, right? Her sister burned like 2 or 3 or 4 boxes before she opened one up and started reading it. Think about that. Believe on a different timeline than we are. Like right now, Kion is huge, for example. I really think one of the different timelines and their energy frequencies are higher than the norm, which is why they consider them crazy. I love being crazy a lot. And I agree with that too, 100%, because y'all know me, I love to experiment. And I've been seeing these videos where it's like, before you go to sleep and when you wake up in the morning time, you're supposed to say, for my higher good, align me with the best timeline for me. I've been trying it. And it's weird because I'm slowly getting slight, subtle weirdness. Like, you want to fall down a rabbit hole? Look up some of the newer Mandela effects within the past 2 years, and it'll break your brain. And the reason that I'm saying this is because before COVID, right? Before that happened, all of these conspiracy theorists were conspiracy, right? They were the crazy. They were, off their rockers. Except for when 2019 happened and 2020 happened and then 2021 happened, a lot of those conspiracy theories that people had trying to find out is fucking true. It's part of an example I've been doing for 3 weeks along with other magic workings. Oh, that is awesome. And see, I love this. This is the community that I love so much. I love our community because we're all just throwing stuff in there and like, you know what? Let's experiment. I completely agree. A lot of people look at me weird or say that I'm completely out of my mind, yet I'm able to see things and feel things that other people around me have absolutely no compartment. Yes! They break my brain. I've been trying to do it too, and everything looks so different and strange. It's like, yes, see? And I love all of this as well because I'm the same way. Like, my partner, or no, I did a IQ test. I don't remember the score, but the one thing that I had the highest score in, it's like, fuck it. Taking this and in your mind, breaking it apart and then reconstructing it, that's the best thing that I'm at. I'm really, really good at like abstract thinking, or like when necklaces and shit get tied up, I'm really, really good with just holding it in my hand and I can see how to undo it from like just my mind. And I was taught, a lot of us were taught that like if we're not book smart, if we're not this, if we don't fall into this box, then we're just dumb. And it's that saying that I always fuck up, but it's like, you know, it's like a fish making fun of a bear because a fish can't climb a tree. They're not supposed to climb a tree. They're supposed to swim. I've been doing that too. Okay. Ever since I started down the path and trying to feel energy, my son has been complaining more and more about scaring monsters. The only thing I hate about the journey. Vision is different since I started. Oh, that is awesome. And that may be that you or your son one may be what I call a light. Which is basically my partner's one. Actually, his father is one. Which is basically like spirits and other things that fall under the term of spirits or all of that paranormal things. They're sometimes drawn to us. So obviously protection and stuff like that. Like the other day, I had something that never happened before. So I have a bell that my partner found out on one of the properties. I had to stick, like I had to replace the actual ding part, but I have it hung up right here. It's what I do my sounds cleansings with, and then I also have a pendulum hung up, and then a couple other things hung up. It's where I hang up my sage, right? Culinary sage. My cat, Bubbers, he kind of alerts me when spirits move in or if we have a new visitor or something like that. Normally if you hear him catcalling, that's what I associate him with doing. And the other day, it's fucking weird. It was a very weird day, and I think it was Saturday. Or was it yesterday? Saturday or Sunday. Anyways, me and my partner were in there, and he was in here, and he kept sitting on the box. I have a blue oil box that my phone and things on. It has all my oils in it. And he sat on top of it, and he was just staring out the window. And I'm like, okay, that's not normal. He reaches up and rings the fucking bell with his head. And then as I walk in here, because I heard it, he looked at me and looked out the window. As soon as that happened, I see this lady in my mind, this woman. And she's still here. I've not talked to her, she's not talked to me, but I can feel her and see her, and I've never had him do that before. So this is another interesting development that I'm experimenting with like, okay, what does it mean when your cat who lets you know dead people are here rings a bell? What does that mean? I have the same issue with my son, Linda. I have a sexual for his room, and it has helped him so much. It has a good dream purification and protection herbs. He now sleeps in his room again. Oh, that is awesome! I've been trying to think of something for him. He does stay with me in my room, and I do have a dream spell bottle in there. Oh, I gotta message you. Okay, message me. Another thing that you could do is, like, if he has a favorite, like, show, try to get, like, action figure or doll. You know what I mean? A statue of one of his favorite characters, and then turn that into like a ward. But tell him it's the Monster Patrol. So that way, and it actually would be because it will scare away the monsters that he's seeing. But create it to. Did I just fucking. Sorry, I just saw a bird that we normally don't see out here, which is, I think it was an osprey. Holy shit, okay, that was cool. But yeah, create it to where it basically will come out and basically, like, scare the monsters away. And that's something also you could do with him, so that would be cool. It's okay, he loves Link from Zelda. Oh, yes, that would be perfect! I had him sit with me a while, and I made it. I told him what the herbs did, and put up on his... I love this. I love this so much. Yes. See, I cannot wait to... If I ever have kids, I cannot wait to do this. I'm like, all right, come on. Let's go to the table. Let's mix up some magic. And the reason I reacted like that is because the osprey, if it was that, that's my partner's bird. That's the bird that he's associated with. Also, after this, if y'all haven't already... Go look at my shorts. I did an offering yesterday because if y'all didn't know, I've also been building up a relationship with the crows around here. So I had some fruit left over, some pomegranate seeds, apples, oranges, not oranges, strawberries and grapes. There we go. So I left some for the ancestors and the nature spirits at my tree, and then I went down there and left some, and I filmed it. You also get to see all the cats. Right after that, about 10 minutes after that video, I shit you not, and I have it on video as well. I think I've already uploaded it. Two of the crows landed on the poles, and they're looking around, and they look down, and it is an osprey. Oh, that is so fucking cool. No, wait, that's not an osprey. Well, I got research to do after this, because that's another raptor that I've never seen around here before. And that bitch is big. I am so sorry. I'm ADD moment today. So they swooped down, and they got it, right? I got that on video. Another crazy thing happened yesterday. So I'm sitting in here, and we're getting ready to, like, go into town, and I'm assuming it was the female hawk that's around here, because we have primarily 2 hawks that stay around here. It lands down there, right? And I'm pretty sure it had been sitting there for about 5 or 10 minutes, but, like, my brain had just registered it. And as soon as it did it, my brain registered, I spoke to it, even though I'm up here and it's way down there. And I was like, oh, hi, I'm glad to see you're here. This motherfucking hawk had been sitting there not making a single fucking sound, looked at me, looked directly up here, and then, like, squawked 3 times. Like, kept looking at me and then flew off. And I was like, oh my God, these are those moments in witchcraft where you have to question, did that just happen or am I fucking crazy? Because, yes, mundane-wise, it could have been a coincidence, which I do not believe of. The word coincidence was made up to explain the unexplainable. Hello? But yeah, so a lot of magical thing. No, that is an osprey. Because it's white underneath. I've never seen an sorry, it keeps flying by, and I have a very strong connection with birds. So, like, this is new because, yes, I live around water, but again, we don't normally have ospreys out here. I know we have at least 2 eagles. We have a shit ton of owls. Obviously, we have gators. We don't really have that many snakes on my property, which is also weird. And then, actually, it was not a robin. I think it was a sparrow. Is currently up here. It was so cool, and I can actually show y'all this. Let's not look at the windows, because, well, I live outside. I mean, I have cats and stuff outside. But look, oh my God, how do you zoom? Look! Cool story about that as well. Okay, so the cool story about that is, I was, scrolling through TikTok and doing some other things, answering some emails and everything. And it flew up to the windowsill right there on the stoop, and it kept looking at me, and I was like, all right, I'll bring you some food. As I open the door, it flies up, and it, like, flies up. I put the food down as soon as I walk back inside. She has literally been sitting there just chomping down. I love it. I love this. And it also is going to lead into the, oh, thank you. And that wants to lead me into the big awakening that I had that I think a lot of people need to hear sometime. Oh, he is fishing his heart out. Which is, as much as it's going to be hard to do because I'm doing this every single day, I have this ability to where I tell myself, don't compare yourself to, like, other people and where they're at in their craft. And sometimes it gets stuck in my head and I'll just go over, like, I'll spiral with it. And I realized that I preach so much that everybody has their own craft differently, right? And it hit me yesterday when I was doing my Sunday ritual, which is listening to the Southern Fried Witches podcast every Sunday when she releases it. And I was like, oh my God, I've sat here and completely went through a spiral of, like, I'm not doing enough offerings. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And I stopped and I'm like, that's because I have not fully unlearned what Wicca or what other practitioners that I've had in my life, some toxic, that taught me. And I'm at a point now to where I have made my own craft, which means I dictate and can dictate when things need to happen. Like, I I had a email. You may be watching this if you are. Hi. I had somebody message me and it blew me the fuck away. Like this email, I was not expecting it. It blew me the fuck away. And I'll be doing a working very soon. But I love... Oh, it's getting so close. Sorry, it like almost landed in the tree. You know what happens to me? I come to you and you ground me. Aw! Thank y'all. Oh, there's 2 of them out here. Okay, ADD brain, stop with the fucking dog squirrel shit. I realized that, like, there is no wrong or right thing to do. Ah, there we go. But, I get to do a working, and this person said something that nobody has ever said to me before, and I love it. And they're like, no rush. Like, I don't want you to randomly rush this. Like, just do it when you feel right. I'm sorry, what? Yes, I love this, and I encourage y'all to too. If you have spell work to do not go into it rushed. Wait for that moment. And that's what I'm going to be doing. The next 3 days, or the next 2 to 3 days, starting today, because I got a couple of things to do around the house, I'm going to slowly start processing it and prepping it to when I actually will be able to fully put it together and do it. And I fucking love it. Also, we got a slight update with one of the people that were in the January honey jar. It's definitely working. They got to find something that their family has been needing, and they actually got it. So, like, I love being able to get updates of how things are going. Because for one, it's always validation. Like, as much as some people hate, we all sometimes need validation in our own practice. And trust me, here recently, Spirit has been working through my fucking partner to get those points across. What do I mean by that? I'll give myself an oracle or tarot reading. And obviously, we all get those readings where like, yep, nope, I didn't see this. This reading is not calling me out. I know what I have to do, but I'm not doing it right now, so just stop. My partner has been channeling it. And, like, he'll wind up saying something that I just read from my cards or that I got in the message that I ignored, and my partner 5 minutes later turns around and throws it in my face. And I'm like, really? This is where we're at now. There's just no escaping now. Like, no fucking escaping. I should do that because my ADHD, when it comes to spells, works the worst. That's what I do. I mean, obviously, like, if I do have a certain deadline, like, if it's a new moon or a full moon thing, obviously, I've got to do it then. But I like to, like, be in my zone. And that was one of the reasons that I checked out from TikTok. I'll do a working when I feel the need to. Then after, I'll research things and realize that the timing was perfect for that working. Yes! But, like, I realized, and it was actually last week when that whole shit on my profiles kind of broke out, and that entire conversation got construed in like 5 or 6 different ways. I was like, I can't do this right now. I was like, I have a business to run. And what I mean by that is, like, if I have a reading, I can't read somebody if I'm in a very, very stressful mood. Normally, depending on the situations, I can kind of cut it off. Like, I learned when I was able to actually work at like a 9-to-5 job, the most important thing you need to learn is when you get to work and you walk through those doors, you are an employee, which means nothing that's going on in your personal life needs to carry through that, because that's when your work life gets very, very complicated. And I do the same thing here. Like, if I'm having a very, very stressful day or a down day, I may not really do that much. Most people already know that. Like, if I'm having a no-bones day. But there are also aspects of where, and my partner said that it's a gift. All this stuff that I've been through to, like, cause me to have CPSD, CPSD, anxiety, all this other stuff, right? I have this unique ability when shit gets really, really real, I just kind of cut everything off. Like, I'm not a robot, and I still connected to my emotions, but the part that freaks me the fuck out to where I'm just paralyzed, I cut it off. And I can do the same thing when it comes to magic, depending on the environment and the certain situation. I'm so glad my lead is understanding. They let me leave Thursday due to my mental health. Oh, that is awesome. I also hope it's better. Hello. Also, holy shit, y'all. Thank y'all so much. I literally, I think at the beginning of this year, hit 400, and I'm already at 445. And the reason I'm saying that is because my end goal for this year is to have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That is a very, very big number, but I think I can do it. Which is why I'm going to be focusing on here. Today I do plan on making, and I need to stick with this, the Pringle candle spell candle things that I'm doing. And I'm also, as long as it doesn't rain, which it's supposed to, I'm going to make the Poppet video. Now, with that being said, this will not be posted on TikTok because people are automatically going to be like, well, no, you're still, no. In Creole Voodoo, Hoodoo, and Southern Conjure, guess how we learned to make voodoo dolls and or puppets? The natives. The natives taught them. How do you do this? The most simplest but very powerful one. If you live in a southern state where you can grow southern moss or Spanish moss, you go outside and you find the tree that matches what you're trying to do. What do you mean by that? Every single tree we have on this planet, I'm pretty sure, has some type of correspondence. So find that tree if you can with that correspondence, and you're going to get 2 sticks and or 1 stick. You're going to make a cross with those sticks. And then what are you going to do? You're going to get the Spanish moss and all your other herbs and spices that you're going to use, and you're going to wrap that Spanish moss around it. Thus, you have a puppet. And that is how natives taught people in Louisiana and New Orleans on how to actually make puppets. And that's what I'll be doing. Plus adding my own little thing in there because I've seriously got to start like writing down topics that I know I'm going to talk about. I've showed it before, but pokeweed, or pokeweed, the root of it is very, very protective. And y'all know, if y'all been following me for a while, I have a shit ton of it on my property. It really is. TikTok has become what Twitter was with the cancel culture. And the funny thing is, what people need to take away from seeing so much of Ukraine, the cancel culture doesn't really, it's only here in America, really, in Canada, and some other places, but Ukraine, they've spoken on it. They don't really have cancel culture over there. Because they're like, yeah, okay, a actor or something like that says something controversial. Okay, acknowledge that you did it, apologize sincerely, and move the fuck on. Why are you going to cancel somebody over one thing? You're going to ruin their entire career over one mistake. I will try to talk and see if I will be able to, possibly, like, help send a package to you. Now, the reason I said possibly is because due to the fact the partner works and all this other shit, but yes. But yeah, you get pokeweed, and you dig up the root. So you're not, I mean, if you want to dry out the berries, you totally can. There are multiple things you can do with it, but the root is what you want. Dry it out, and the way that I did that was by nature. I literally just left it on my altar to sunbake. But you can also, with fresh, you can cut it up and you can bake it. Lowest temperature on your oven and bake it for about an hour to 2. Your house will smell. I personally like the smell of it, but that's, you know. And then once it's fully dried up, oh, thank you. Yes, we're definitely gonna have to talk about that because I need oil lamps so I can start actually using oil lamps in my practice and start making videos about it because they're very powerful. Also, Southern Conjure. Due to the drama, now I'm thinking about leaving TikTok. I am almost so close to being there, if not just kind of redoing everything that I've done. But once you dry that out, another thing you can do, polymer clay from Dollar General. It's cheap. It gets a little sticky once it gets warm, but it does the trick. Then, if you do save your burnings from herbs and stuff, what some people call witch's gunpowder, I learned that from the Chaos Witch that I interviewed. You can also use fresh ones. Mix that in the clay, right? So all the herbs and their correspondences of also what you want in that poppet will be mixed in, and then you're going to create a head with that. So you have an entire constructed poppet that literally only costed you the amount of the herbs if you don't have them, and or the polymer clay. And I think it's like $5 for like a box about that big. And it works. Like, I have made multiple things to go on my altar with polymer clay. Some people are like, well, no, it's not natural, but yet you're also using resin. See, I don't understand the issues with this. Like, they're like, well, oh no, I've seen people who make the pyramids that are supposed to have the crystals and certain metals in them, and everybody's like, well, it's not gonna work because it's resin. Whoop the fucking do. If you know how to work with energy and it actually has the right metals in it, which is primarily copper, it will work. Now, there are people who make them and they don't actually use UV resin. They use some type of other mixture that's supposed to be more organic. And basically what the symbol, or what the thing that I'm trying to talk about is, I cannot remember the name. I only use it for my art, but I feel like doing a video, but I have a little confidence and don't think it's good enough to actually do it. Still do it! Do it anyways! Trust me, there are so many times. Thankfully, I have a Discord, and I joined my favorite TikTokers Discord. Oh, that is awesome! And yes, for anybody who did not know, we have a Discord, Lotus Hollow. But using things like that in your practice, it makes it personal. Now what else was I going to say? This is also probably my issue. Berry voltage. I can tell this was $1, but it's still doing the trick. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. With making content, when I first started doing these, if you were to go back to like the very first video that I posted on here, no confidence, awkward, and nervous as hell, right? Then I started practicing using my camera versus actually a live or something like that. Just making stupid videos, getting comfortable behind the camera. Now I'm more comfortable behind the camera than I am in real life, which is mind-blowing. But also always remember this. When you start making content, don't question what you're making. The reason why is your followers are following you because of your content, because of your universe that you were creating, your world that you were creating. They're following you because of that. And I'm calling myself out now because I've also let the whole number game, like if I post a video and it only gets 100 views and a few likes, that bothers me sometimes, but I have to remind myself I'm not part of the Creator Fund, which means it doesn't care if I get 10,000 views. Hello. Oh, Egyptians use type of resin and clay for offerings. Example of Google and the cucumber relic. Oh, I'm going to have to look that up. Dude, I feel like an old person with TikTok, but I also don't post for every other else unless I have questions. Exactly. And trust me, there are moments my partner just fucking figured out something on TikTok that I didn't even know. And I'm like, you barely use it. I took the jump and started that podcast. Oh, when you can, send me a link, please. I would love to listen to it. And I'm telling you, you're going to love it. And that's what you have to do. Don't let all this other shit get to you. Just make random fucking content if you want to. Trust me, some of the most simplest of videos that I've created thinking it would not go anywhere. Actually, one of my first videos that kind of popped off, and I've never actually fully went viral, which is like getting a certain amount of views within one like 24-hour period. Normally it takes like 3 days for me. But I think one of the first ones that kind of popped off was my light language video. I was in the living room. I was kind of like over that day, and I was like, all right, you know, fuck it. I don't know what this is. Let's see if other people can do it. Saved it in my draft for like 2 days, and then I got this random thought, post that video. Just post it. And I was like, all right, fuck it. I posted it. Boom. Blew the fuck up. I was like, wait, what? Warning though, they thought it was for something else at first. Oh. But yeah, like, make your content. Create a podcast. Create a YouTube video. If you create a YouTube channel, create multiple videos and all upload them and save them to private. You can even do this with a podcast, too. Upload multiple things when you can. When you get that creative feeling, go with it, right? Make as much content as you want. Upload it, but set the videos to private. That way, you can already have like 30 videos to where when you're comfortable enough to start telling people, you already have like 10, 20, 30 videos that you can release on a certain day. I should really take my own fucking advice, but sometimes I never do. It's good for other people. But yeah, do that. Like, there's nothing stopping you. And you also have us. You have this community to help each other figure it out. And just know, when I was going into this, we didn't have this community yet. So I was Googling, I was DuckDuckGoing. I was asking other people, like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And most of the time I did have a computer, but like right now with all the stuff that I'm doing, I don't. I haven't got my laptop fixed yet. Work in progress. Now, when that happens, things will change with my content, because thank you, because I'll be able to do a lot more. But when I first joined TikTok, the phone that I had was 11 years predated. So, like, I could literally only have, like, 3 to 4 apps on there, and that was it. And I still made content. Did it suck? Yes. Was it bad and low quality? Yes. But that's actually where I broke 1,000 followers. I did not actually get my new phone that I'm using now until I was already kind of up there. And then, obviously, once I got a better phone with better quality, the only thing I hate, still to this day, that I hate about TikTok, no matter how many times, because if you did not know, if you save a draft and you delete the TikTok app, that draft goes away, right? So the beauty filter, the little fucking setting on the actual videos that's just supposed to make you look flawless, does not work, and I have big pores. So, but again, I'm also like, you know what? Fuck it. Exactly, or schedule them. Like I'm still trying to figure out how to how to be able to get these comments to actually move over with this live versus when I post it, it just goes blank. Because I know some people still have the live feed up. I just haven't figured out how to turn that on yet. I'm working on it though. Good news is, I did finally find a website to where I can extract the audios from this. So hopefully I'll be able to get some podcast out there. None of the filters on TikTok work on my phone. Some of them work on mine, but when it comes to like beauty thing, it does not. Now the live on TikTok does. When I go live on TikTok, I look like a completely different person. Completely different, which I hate. Because like, yeah, are there some days I will actually get up, shave, put on eyeliner? Yes. And there are other days where I will jump in the shower, put a comb through my hair, and then throw some clothes on, and I'm like, all right, I'm here, I'm alive, let's do this. What else? Was there anything that I wanted to say or really talk about? Yeah, go back to that. Primarily with your craft. I still can't go live on TikTok too. That's my goal. I will definitely help you with that when I do start posting more. There are a couple of creators that I'm going to shout out and be like, look, they make great content. They stay out of drama. Go follow them. And then I actually got to go through my following list, the people that I follow. No, it won't be any mutuals. It'll be like the other profiles that have nothing to do with witchcraft. Because my followers, the people I follow, that number's gotten too high. It's almost at 1,000 right now, and I'm like, I cannot keep up with 1,000 people. I can barely keep up with the comments on my videos now. Yep, I deleted the app with like 200 videos in my draft. I have that problem now because, like, due to everything that has happened in the past 2 weeks, I'm questioning everything that I'm posting. And if you follow me on TikTok, you'll see that because my videos are all over the fucking place. And it's just like, I don't know what people want. And then I'm slowly getting to the attitude where I just don't fucking care. The only thing that is bugging me is seeing people who started out with me or around the same time as me, and then they have like 10K followers, they've got fucking 50K followers, and I'm still sitting over here at my number. Mine are all over the place too. I kind of like stuff like that. Like, obviously, if you have the energy to actually find a niche and stick with that niche, mwah, bravo to you, because I cannot. My niche is everything. But I like it because it shows life. Like, there's also something that I'm using this for, all of my online content, which is the disability. Because they brought it up before, and they're like, well, I see you make online content, and they're like, what up? And I'm like, my belief in spirituality, that shut them down. But my partner realized something. He goes, you can show them their videos, because if anybody watches your TikToks, they'll notice one thing. You're always at the same place. Only a few videos actually show me in different locations or in a car. Other than that, I'm here with this background or my other backgrounds that I've used. Also, I don't need the need to create content. Like, I think that's what makes me not want to post. I don't want to be a niche. Just want to post when I want to and kind of want that. Go for it. I know plenty of people that do. 100%. Like, one of the only reasons besides I have met a lot of amazing people on that app, and not to mention I get to see a lot of things that due to my agoraphobia I would not be able to see. Um but it's the toxicity in the spiritual community. And I posted a video where I was like, I think the biggest problem with our witchy community is a lot of people, including me sometimes, we don't know how to have a conversation with our ego not leading it. If we could find out a way to like kill the ego, which a lot of spirit, not everything, because we do need some of our ego to actually survive, but a lot of spiritual people throughout history, they did that. They forced themselves to have an ego death. Once you have an ego death, you completely come off your pedestal and you realize we're all humans trying to figure out what the fuck life is and what's the point of it. And that's where it came from. Not to mention the conversation that I had with natives, and this is to everybody who responds in like a shocking way. I realized what it was, and I loved how they worded it. They're like, exactly, Gandhi. But they're like, see, the problem is when some natives see what is preventing as a Caucasian person talking about their sacredness, what it actually is for one, it is wrong, duh. But it's also for that other person, it's they haven't fully worked through their generational trauma. And again, we also go through this too. People who get triggered. It's the same aspect. Like you're scrolling through TikTok, you see a video and it just pisses you off for no reason. That is a trauma response. That's what we're doing online. That's the reason we're so, sometimes it can become so toxic, is because you're not talking with your thoughts, you're talking with your emotions. And if you haven't worked fully through that ancestral trauma, and then you're triggered by this, it's going to come off as fear and hatred or anger because it's misplaced. And when I read that, I was like, oh my God, this makes sense. Even for the spiritual community, this makes sense. And I was like, this person blew my fucking mind, completely blew it. And I was like, that makes sense. I finally got a live. Love all of you. Oh, thank you. But yes, Gandhi, so many other people. What I mean by this is I'm not saying you have to be love and light all the fucking time, because nature is loving and cruel. We have sunny, beautiful spring days, and then we have hurricane season. But at the same time, go about a situation that you already have emotions about. And like my partner taught me, and I will never fucking forget this, take yourself out of the equation. As in, exactly, spicy psychiatry. Take yourself out of the equation and detach emotionally from the conversation and look at it like you are a stranger on the street or on a train exerting this reaction, and then respond. So see, that's what people need to start doing. And then we also fall into the God complex, which is just because, not the God complex. Yeah, it is the God complex. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. What I mean by that is there's another term for it. When you have all of these followers, some people, they don't know how to handle that. And then they let those numbers go to their head. Almost like overnight, or over months and years, we become these celebrities. Like, I still have people that when I follow them, they fanboy or fangirl. I love it, but I don't understand it because I'm like, I am a person. I am no hero. I am just a 28, 29-year-old trying to move through life and just throwing out my ideas. The bigger creators tend to have a God complex. Exactly. And it really is that. And like, there were creators that I followed when they first started that I've unfollowed and blocked because of how much change their personalities did. And you can tell because they'll start getting more cockier and more cockier. And then I've had creators that I've loved, and I'll see a video and they're telling their followers to go do this or do that. And I'm just like, nope, we're not having that today. It's stupid. It's pointless. You do not use your followers for fucking, they're not your army. They're not their minions. No, not cool. Another thing that I do not like, if I see it, I will completely stop it, which is, I am a firm believer that if you have a mentor or a teacher, you do not fuck them over, and or you do not manipulate them, and or you get cocky and think that you get higher than them, so you try to like undermine them and get control of the situation. Cannot fucking stand that at all. It drives me crazy. And with me, I have some of my followers, and then I also have my partner and my ancestors that sometimes I do need a reality check. Most of my drafts are very, very heated, spicy responses to things, and I looked at it and I'm like, you know what? Yep, nope, I'm not posting this. But the cool thing is though, I got that out. I got that emotion out. And that's another thing I think a lot of people don't know how to do, which is because we hear all these emotions are really, really bad. No, every emotion is good in certain quantities. There is a healthy way to express anger. There's a healthy way to express sadness, rage, all of these things. And what I found out through my life of growing up and looking at all my relatives on what not to do. So instead of looking at them as like, yes, I'm going to be you. No. Mine was, all right, let's not do this. Let's not do this. Let's not do this. Number one thing was a lot of my cousins and like people around my generation, they never actually found an outing or a venting way for their trauma, so they held on to it and buried it deep inside. And what wound up happening is anger, frustration, explosion, basically. With me, through art, I found a way that I could literally emotionally trauma puke all over a canvas. And I know that. I know what it represents. I know what each color, each brushstroke means. But to everybody else, it's just an abstract painting. And through that and listening to music, I learned that if I hold on to these, I'm just adding more weight, and basically I'm just sinking myself. It's like walking around with anchors or concrete tied to your shoes. But if you find healthy outlets for that, it's not going to build up. And therefore, I saw another video. If you had a kind of normal childhood, like what most people that experience trauma considers a normal childhood. So what I mean by trauma, trigger warning, what I mean by trauma, abuse, anything that falls under that, right? If you haven't had that in your life, there's no really need to do shadow work. What I mean by that is shadow work is also, it's the shadow side, but it's also trauma side. I've had a 15 and a 14-year-old ask me, when do I need to start doing shadow work? You're not even, no offense, you're not even 20 yet. You should not even be focusing on shadow work right now. You should be focusing on living your life. And that's what people don't understand. They hear this term or they hear this big leader and they're like, oh my God, I need to do shadow work. I need to do shadow work. No, you do not. You will personally know when you need to do shadow work. You and yourself, your guides, your ancestors, your body will know. Just like how there are some people that when they conceive, at that exact moment, it's just like, yep, I'm pregnant. Yep, I'm pregnant. Our bodies know. They push shadow work so hard, and I mean, it's important, but like, I'm not going to journal about it every day. Exactly. And on top of that, the people that are pushing the shadow work, 3 videos before or after, they'll respond to somebody, and I'm like, you're preaching to do shadow work, but what you just did is proof you have not done any type of shadow work. And that blew my mind. Like, I learned shadow work before it blew up because Christopher Penczak, his 3rd book in the Witchcraft Temple series, or the Temple of Witchcraft, it is literally, he has an entire book that is dedicated to shadow work. Because he's like, in order to become that, in order to become this, you have to kill your shadow side. But in order to do that, you have to face every aspect on every level that you do not like about yourself. You have to understand why you don't like this. Is it the trauma? Is it what you've been told? And then you have to grab that and turn that darkness into light. Now, with that being said, does that mean that you will never have a shadow side? No, but that means your shadow side will also evolve with you as spiritually. It's those moments where you're randomly going through life and all of a sudden you have one thought that stops everything and it sends shockwaves through your core. My moment like that, somebody mentioned it to me. Don't get me started. Shadow work is not for beginners and it's not just magical. It's mental. Exactly. That is 100% true as well. And honestly, if I were to tell anybody, especially if it's a beginner, don't worry about, if you want to work on something like that, work on healing your inner child. Why? Why do I focus on that so much? For one, healing your inner child, you're going to do something a child would do, which is what? Use your imagination. Why is imagination so important in witchcraft? Because imagination gives us that magical feeling. It gives us that spark. When everything is burning out around us, we still have that spark of life. And also, with your imagination, well, I can't technically say this now because I found out people can't actually imagine things in their head visually, but it helps with that as well. On top of that, your inner child, imagine being able to fully heal your inner child so where it's no longer hiding in a corner on top of you stepping into your power. So, like, not to mention, you're going to get more in touch with your kid side, which is, I don't care. I don't care if you're 80 years old. Like me, I always used to have a Peter Pan complex. I still do. I just hide it more. All you need to do is just be able to act an adult in certain situations. Other than that, be a fucking kid. I personally think that's what makes people look younger. It's because we still hold that child mentality. But yeah, fuck shadow work. If you're a beginner, inner child work. What is that? Coloring, also known as meditation. There's art. There's listening to music, watching Dancing in the Rain, doing all the shit you used to do as a kid. Redo that, and the amount of serotonin and dopamine that it will drop in your head, the amount of stress that it will relieve, the amount that it will elevate you if you're in a darker anxious moment, that comfort that it will give you can literally rechange, like, it'll completely flip you in a good way. And these are things that everybody focuses on. Oh, shadow work. And if you're depressed, shadow work can be. Yes, it really can be. That's what people don't understand. If you have depression, if you have BPD or BID, or no, DID, if you have DID, if you have PTSD, if you have depression, if you have anxiety, all of those things, shadow work can make it 10 times worse. Because with the shadow work, it's the same reason with past life regression and why it can be slightly dangerous, especially if you're a novice, which there's nothing wrong with being a novice. What I mean by that is if you don't fully understand what you're doing, it's like somebody with PTSD. There's a reason when I talk, like, I don't talk to strangers or, like, even good friends. I won't really go into detailing about my childhood, only primarily with my partner and a few other people, because what winds up happening is I wind up unlocking a memory that I didn't remember for a reason. The same thing can happen with past life regression because you can't dictate what you're about to see. So the very last scene that you could see would be your death, right? Now imagine what that's going to do to our bodies. You just flooded your entire body with emotions that they don't understand. And this, I'm just going to put it out there anyways, trigger warning. PTSD, when that moment happens, it leaves a scar in the brain, right? So what winds up happening, and depending on how much trauma, it can go deeper and deeper. But when that person gets excited, what I mean by that is when the adrenaline starts pumping, what winds up happening is that adrenaline flows into those seeps and it reactivates them. And you're going through it again. That's what's going to wind up happening with shadow work. If you're already in a dark place, kind of that hopeless place, the last thing you want to do is reflect yourself of all the things you don't like about yourself. That's just going to send you down spiraling. We don't need that. Please, yes, it's open to so many worms. Due to knowing my dad shook me because of disability and I have abusive through friends, so I got PTSD. Yeah, I want to know my past life so bad, but I'm not emotionally ready for that. Exactly, and these are all things that everybody needs to take into account. That's why that's what one of the terms that everybody uses is staying balanced. It doesn't necessarily mean ground and centering. It means that you need to be in the right mental state in order to do this. And it's just, there's so many people that don't talk about this because TikTok, you cannot fit, this is the reason I like lives, because you cannot fit all this detail, all this information into a 60-second video, which I did see one of my mutuals just get an update that they have 10-minute videos now. So get prepared for that shit show that's going to come out of that. I would personally love it, but yeah. Also with TikTok, how do we feel? We've all seen the commercials. How do we feel about using an app that they have to make commercials saying, wait, stop. You've been on this too long. You've been scrolling too long. You may be feeling anxious or scared. Why don't you breathe with me? You know, back in the 90s, we had movies like this. Back in the 90s and 80s, we had movies like this. And it was basically stating that they were trying to brainwash us and keep us controlled. And what are we doing now? Talking about TikTok, and we're not even on TikTok. Past life, if I would have gone through this 6 years ago, I would have done all the things and would have not well. I can't go into church because of a childhood trauma. PTSD triggers many things for me. I know all damn well I won't even do shadow work. Honestly, like, again, when you need to do shadow work, you will know. And also, to the people that's, like, you know, not in the right state, that's great. And the reason why is because, like me, I have severe ADHD and I also have dyslexia. So what does that mean with reading? There are certain books that, yes, I have the capacity to be able to read, but I know that I'm not actually going to appreciate them. So I'm not reading them until I get older. Same thing. There are certain things that we are not able to do just yet in our purpose in our craft. That's kind of, I'm not going to use the term croning, but that's one of the other phases. Like I'm about to go through my first Saturn return this year. That's a huge stage. That's a huge life lesson kind of stage. Everybody is going to have these, like spiritual awakenings. There are some people that only think you're going to have one. That is not true. You will have multiple different types and different levels of a spiritual awakening all through your life. I remember this. I do it, but it realizes why I did react the way. Oh, okay, be better. It's not a moment that I'm going to spend hours meditating on, which I think TikTok really pushed. They really do, and that's another stigma that needs to be dropped. Meditation, the meditation that most of them are talking about, it's known as mindful meditation, which is basically putting yourself in center, like putting yourself in your body in that moment. And yes, that is great for a lot of people. It can reduce stress, it can reduce anxiety, but like all of us, or some of us, we have ADHD. Sitting down and trying to quiet our mind, unless I am baked out of my mind, it's not going to happen. So, for one, I created the Twilight Sleep, but running, coloring, anything that can actually get you to concentrate on something is a form of meditation. That's all it is. So, like, I always go to coloring, like the adult coloring books or even kid coloring books, or painting, or even writing, or writing a book. All of these things, as long as you can focus and kind of block everything out, that is a type of meditation. Running, my partner used to be a runner. That was his type of meditation. And that's what they don't understand. So when you're getting into these moments, if you want to set your intention, as you're concentrating on what you're doing, if you can, in the back of your mind, focus on one thing that you want brought into your life. That is meditation. Now, yes, is the actual, like, sitting down and, like, the whole, you know, is that, yes, that could be good, but not everybody can do that. Do they know that I can count backwards and still have a conversation with myself in my head? I can do that too. I can listen to music with headphones in, reading a book, and going down the road and keeping up with everything. Therapy and lost my memory. Oh my God. Have been told not to do shadow work, too traumatizing for my brain. Exactly. I would not either. I like to listen to the sounds or the wind chimes when I meditate. The silence never works for me and my mind goes to many places. Actually, there's no. That's, you're actually doing this right. Listen to this. This is something that I've not heard anybody talk about, and it took me almost 5 to 10 years to actually get somebody to actually tell me this, right? So I actually, when I was on actual insurance and I was on medication, I could actually sit down and fully meditate like we're talking about, right? But I kept having these weird sensations. First thing in meditation, you're going to wonder. That's the point. So what's wind up happening is a lot of people, when you start to try to quiet your mind and it starts going to all different places, a lot of people will try to stop that. Don't. Let it flow. What I mean by that is just let it go. Let it go as long as it needs to. Eventually, your brain will just kind of slow down. Now, another sensation that you might have, I don't know the technical term for it, but yes, guided meditations also work because they work real for me. But you'll get the sensation where it feels like certain limbs are way larger or they have more weight to them than they actually need to. That is a sign that you're actually entering a meditative state. Now, also with meditation, especially in witchcraft, they also tell you that to help you either raise or lower vibrations. But that's also where we have the, I think it's called the the dragon triangle, the eightfold path. I think it's the eightfold path, which is basically 8 techniques that either A, heighten your it changes your because you're breathing, so it changes your oh my god, not perspective. Yeah, basically it changes the energy, right? So depending on what you're doing, you're either going to want a higher one or you're going to want a lower one. That's drumming, dancing, breathing. And before anybody says it, no, drumming is not a closed practice. In any way, shape, or form, it's not. Drumming, dancing, music, shakers, you know, like the little shaker things. Those, I've already said breathing. I'll post a list of it, but it's basically just things that alter your perspective. And on a mundane level, what that's doing is you're either lowering or highering your blood pressure and the oxygen in your level, which is basically changing your perspective. That is the point of meditation. But in Southern Conjure, we don't focus on meditation. Siba, the Southern Fried Witch, she reminded me that there are a lot of witches who do not believe in karma and do not believe in the threefold law, Wicca, karma, Hindu. Nothing to do with witchcraft whatsoever. That is a newer New Age spiritual thing. So see, everybody is talking about like, we need to unlearn this, or culture appropriating this, The chakra systems that we have in the Western world right now, it's nothing compared to the fucking ones that actually where it was created at. Karma or kinetic justice, that is from Hindu. But yet, everybody using that term, nobody's screaming culture appropriating on that. That's the reason I stopped using it. That's the reason that I make sure when I pronounce chakras, I actually try to pronounce it as correctly as possible besides what I used to say, which was chakra. No, it's chakra. Which is one of the reasons I don't really mess with them that much. Now, with that being said, does that mean you still can't use those? No, I encourage that. But do not try to like, oh, well, I'm going to open my third eye. No, do not do that. There's a reason there's a system. You just start from the ground up and go up, right? Because like a tree, it doesn't start in the air and then grow down. That would be cool as fuck, though. No, you got to start from the root and work yourself up. Also, with the chakra system that we have here, I hate calling it that because I feel so disrespected to. A lot of the physical aspects that you have are also signals on emotional stuff that you haven't worked through. Like with me, this is very personal, but fuck it. With me, I have problems with my lower back and pain. I have tendonitis, whatever the hell it's called, to where my body is constantly tense. So I have a lot of pressure right here and right here. If you actually look that up metaphysically, that means that there are certain aspects. Don't call me out like that. Trust me, I'm calling myself out too. But yeah, there are certain aspects that means that your physical body is carrying on emotional weight. And that emotional weight is what? Causing physical symptoms. So see, our bodies, like magic, science, and mundane, they're a hell of a lot more intertwined than we all think they are. Psychiatry, our psychologist, it's very, very mixed in there because it's just like our bodies are so amazing because our bodies can know, like when everybody got COVID, right? The people that did get COVID, they all said one thing. Their bodies identified that this was not normal. This was not a normal cold or anything like that. And if you're, and I've actually found out neurotypical people or neurodivergent people and people with anxiety, we're very, very in tune with our bodies. Like, I can tell my partner if a pressure system's moving in or if I'm going to wake up and actually get sick and stuff like that. And he used to look at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, look, I know my body. I know when something is off and I know when something is normal. Something is off. I'll wind up waking up sick or something like that. But yeah, our physical things can cause physical things. Sorry, I'm quiet. I'm at work. No, you're good. You're good. And those are awesome things. So if you wanted to do some type of meditation, right, here, do this. And it's not technically shadow work, right? Sit down. You don't have to concentrate or anything like that, but sit down and listen to your body. Hello, I'm doing pretty good. Listen to your body, right? So get a cutout or get like a little shape of like the human body. And with colors, match where you get certain things at, like pains or twitches or anything like that, right? And then after that, I guess this is kind of homework. Start kind of looking up metaphysically what these areas in the body mean. and then compare that with your life and see if you can incorporate certain daily practices in to relieve that stress. Honestly, if you're going to try to do anything, try yoga. Yoga, you get the same benefits from meditation, or trying yoga, same thing. Now, watch with using yoga, because I've heard some questionable things about yoga and what people are saying online, but yoga can also help with those intense moments. But these are things that, this is what I mean by people on the app, they're putting themselves in a box. Yes, I hurt worse than normal. Temperatures drop. Yes, temperatures drop. Like, I always saw this, my grandfather had it, and I never understood it. He would rub his knee, and he's like, yep, there's rain coming. My knee does the exact same fucking thing. It can be going great, and then all of a sudden, my entire fucking knee is on fire, and I'll look at my partner, I'm like, yep, it's gonna rain soon. If you have some hypermobility, be careful. Yes, I thank you for saying that. If you do, obviously, if you have hypermobility, like, don't hurt yourself with the yoga and the stretching and stuff. And then grounding in itself. If you have Netflix, there is a documentary, I think it's actually called Grounded, or Earth Walking. I think it's Earth Walking. Something you can do. Interesting fact, if you had trouble sleeping, if you can ever do this year, try it. Scientists state that if your eternal clock gets fucked up, all it takes is sleeping on the ground 3 nights for it to recorrect itself with, like, the natural rotation things with the earth. But ground yourself. Well, what if I live in an apartment? Pot. Get a pot, throw some dirt in there, and just sit there and try to connect with the feeling of earth. And you'll know when that happens, but these are ways that you can help and basically just say, fuck shadow work. I mean, if shadow work is calling to you and you like journaling and stuff like that, then by all means do it. Also, if you don't like journaling and you still want to do shadow work, videos. Create a private online video diary. So many things that you can do, but again, if you don't feel the need to do shadow work, don't. We are all different witches. We are all different people. I do stretches before yoga, then meditation. Oh, I love that. I do want to get into yoga because, again, agoraphobia, I'm not really that active as I used to be. So I definitely would like to get into greetings and hello. But yeah, these are all techniques that can help us tremendously. Another thing, you can call it the low vibrational music list, right? Create music that no matter what you're feeling, when you hear it, it slightly lifts your spirits. And then create an entire list of that. And then when you're going through a bad day, or if you're going through a low day, or if the pressure systems are affecting you, play that list and sing. Even if you can't sing, sing to the top of your lungs. It will change your vibrations and it will change your mood. I'm going to do this now. I'm going to get a tent ready now. Are there journal prompts for shadow work? Yes, there are. You can find some on, I cannot believe I'm saying this, TikTok. I'm pretty sure you can find some on, yes, I'm about to say the word, Etsy. I mean, not Etsy, Pinterest. I actually have nightly videos on my YouTube channel for like 2 years now. Oh, that is awesome! I can't wait to set up my place outside when the warmer weather clears up. Fit on apps, my favorite for yoga at home. Oh, thank you, and same. I have a tent. I'm in the process of raking up our leaves. The only thing I have to do is recut the grass, and then I've got to carry a shit ton of water there because, whoever designed this house was not thinking properly, I'm assuming, because the only access that we have to a water hose is at our well, which is at the back of our house, which is about 100 feet that way, or in front of me. And the way that I water my flowers is basically a mop bucket and a old whiskey bottle. So I'm going to have to do that when we have our bonfire so I can start setting that area up because y'all seen a couple of it in the videos. Believe it or not, when we first moved here, our front yard was just beach sand, like white sugar sand. And because we kind of didn't cut the grass and stuff like that, we let it go wild. It actually kind of looks like a yard. But I want where the fire pit's going to be, I want that to get back sandy. That way I don't have to, like, catch my yard on fire. Crow's vid, I was curious what you use as an offering for them. Okay, so what I'm about to say, a lot of help people would be like, no, do not do that. Originally, I did not mean to start working with the crows. That spot that I feed the crows is also as my leftover spot, as in any food that like I have in the refrigerator. I'll throw out there. Yes, I make sure that the cats can eat it. Um, and I walked out there and it was just a bowl because I have this issue when I make spaghetti. I wind up cooking too many pastas to not match the sauce and meat ratio. So we had some left over and I threw them out there and they flew up there. Has videos with books on shadow prompts. Sweet. Um, but I like looked out there and there's a flock of crows. There's like 4 or 5 crows and they're just tearing into the spaghetti noodles. And I was like, okay, interesting. But in that particular video, I used fruit, pomegranate seeds, grapes, strawberries, and apples. And then my partner is actually going to pick me up unsalted peanuts, the peanuts in the shell. They absolutely love those. And I've been doing them randomly because like I said in the video, they'll actually fly over and check the spot out to see if there's anything there. And even if there is there and they don't like it, they'll fly down and check it out. The other thing that I do, which is probably not healthy, but the birds eat it, is any bread that we have that kind of gets to that place you don't want to eat it, I'll kind of save it up in the refrigerator and then I'll just crush it up in the bag and just sprinkle it all out in the yard. And they like it. But yeah, I've been working with them sometime since last year's when I started this. I haven't got any presents yet, but I did have someone tell me that like check around that area because it may be like sticks and random things that they'll bring me first. So I'm definitely excited to like continue this. Because it was cool because yesterday, and I know this is what I'm about to say is going to be crazy, but it's what I experienced. So yesterday, actually a lot of people do that. They'll listen to me instead of like watching the video. Um, Fun fact, you can freeze pasta and reheat by putting boiling water. Holy shit, thank you. I did not know that at all. But at the beginning of our road where our mailboxes were, there were 5 crows there. And I am that crazy person, no matter where I am, if I see a crow, no matter how far away it is, I'm going to acknowledge it and say, hey, what's up? So I did that. Like, I stuck my hand out the window and I was like, hello. I shit you not. When we got home and we actually pulled up, one single fucking crow came up and landed in an exact area that I actually feed them. And I'm like, maybe you were the same crow. I'm hoping it was the same crow. But I mean, yeah, I do that. I talk to all birds. I literally talk. I probably look like a fucking crazy person to my neighbor. But I'll have conversations with my cats, have them with the birds, and they respond in some weird way. They know that I'm talking to them. So yeah. But I do think that's going to be it for today. I wish I could do this all day, but I've got a lot of shit that I've been putting off that I have to do now. And the weather's semi-perfect. It's not really too hot. It's slightly chilly here. But yes, just know that these will be a continuous thing, Monday through Thursday. I do that with squirrels and raccoons. We have that live in the neighborhood. 2 crows eat the food. Oh, that is so cool. We've only seen a raccoon on our property once, but we do have possums. We at least have a possum family, and sometimes with the cat food, I'll make sure I leave some out for them. It was great seeing you and Mary meet too. Oh, that is awesome. That's what I also want. I would love to be able to just like make a signal and just crows fly. Instagram that made a bird feeder from paper plate tape at the bottom of her glass over herself with a blank. I've seen her. I actually follow her on well, it may not be the same one, but I follow someone who specializes in birds. They've been doing that too. Yes, you too. I hope you have a good day. But yeah, these are going to be every day, Monday through Thursday, spontaneously, sometimes Friday. Around the same time, like 10:30ish up until 11, sometimes 12. And then, like I said, I'm not really going to be on TikTok that much. I'm trying to space myself a little bit. If you do want to contact me, though, I still respond to comments and messages. Same. I hope you have a wonderful day, too. And, of course, but you can message me on my Facebook page, my Instagram, Fire Lotus the Witch, all of that. And or you can email me at firelotusthewitch@gmail.com. Oh, thank you. But yeah, and like I said, we have a Discord. You can find everything that what I just said in the link tree that is on my profile. I think that's it. The new moon is coming up March 3rd. March 3rd, everybody, Wednesday. Mark your calendars. But yeah, until then, if y'all have any questions or anything like that, always feel free to message me. And seriously, thank y'all for everybody who joined in. Thank you for everybody who stayed, who just popped in. Thank you for the comments, the shares, the likes. Thank you all. And until then, I will see y'all later. Peace.